So our next presenter coming up is a digital artist that is inspired by the horror genre, B-movies, and anything non-traditional. Here to do a presentation, I think, on the decline of profanity, is Baub Alred. Give it up for Bob.
All right. So when I was 5 or 6, I decided to tell a joke in Sunday school. I need a little help with this one too. So the joke was, why did Mickey Mouse divorce Minnie? Because she was fucking goofy. Now, to me this joke is a little bit innocent because my aunt had told me this joke, so I really didn't feel that it was bad, but it completely was, inappropriate. Being of a Frank-speaking family, those words never seemed too bad to me, and I was one of those kids that would teach other kids on the playground what they meant, and they would pass it along to their friends, and so therefore, I was kind of known as that kid that knew too much, I think. But soon, I learned that the words I knew weren't necessarily all the words that were there. And with the introduction of rap music in the early 80s, I learned how to make creative curse combos based on, just their life stories blending in with mine. So, slide. But with rap music, I started to learn that censorship was out there and that people simply weren't okay with all these words, and they actually were bad. So soon we started getting parental advisory, explicit, lyrics, stickers on the albums, which made them so fucking cool, and that's what you wanted to buy, were all these albums that said parental guidance on it. So even though these words were bad, I had noticed that there were a few occasions in which curse words were completely acceptable, and no one flinched when these words were shouted, and they were, here's some of the acceptable reasons. Fumble. I couldn't imagine someone being frightened or shocked without the use of curse words, and they are the ultimate exclamation mark and really add focus to the fact that you are being chased by an axe murderer, or that your friend is flushing your head in the toilet, or maybe even that you've won, $1 million in the lottery. That happens to all of us. And have you ever had a car problem without a good SOB? A flat tire or a leaky radiator may not get fixed by cussing, but it will calm you down and bring you to the realization that you need to call AAA or call a friend, or maybe fix it yourself if you can. Has a curse word ever helped take away your pain? Probably not, but it has alleviated some of the seriousness of your injury. And these words are perfect if you really don't want to talk about what's wrong with you, but you want to express that in that moment, and you can say it over and over and over and over again until you finally feel better. Okay, once you get past 5 or 6, you're really ready for good jokes. So the best jokes in the world contain one bad word, or at least a phrase of bad words. And jokes are used to bond friends and keep families laughing through hard times and blah, blah, blah. But totally gross jokes are the best. Okay, but all the cool kids are doing it. So as a young kid, I looked up to teenagers and those types of people, and so I hung out with some people at a laundromat in a trailer park, and so they taught me a lot of things, and it was really fun. And some of these things I learned from them because they were much older and they knew things. So some of these kids were skateboarders, and they always cursed whenever they were in midair or they knew that they were going to fall and hit their face, and then they would curse after they hit their face. So, it's kind of like that first and the second slide and the last one. But you're less acceptable because you chose to do this stupid activity. And I'm sure everyone has admired a steady hand of a graffiti artist as a train car rolls by. I always imagine that graffiti artists are all ninjas with amazing mastery of time and content. And it is truly an art of cursing on display without the constraint of museum hours. Now, violence in movies is always a popular time for cursing. And while you couldn't understand what Sylvester Stallone was necessarily saying, when he pulled up the gun, you understood the curse word coming out of his mouth as he blew away his enemies. And many taglines in movies and, in movie moments come from curse words. Tattoo shops. They're a holy place for curse words. And while working at a tattoo shop, I learned that a curse word could be applied to anybody. So necessarily you could expand your boundaries there. And if you took a curse word that was for a woman and you applied it to a man, it doubled the effectiveness of the curse word. So it's kind of like bitch squared if you tried it out. But like it or not, all things are changing, and the curse word is losing its magic and some of its impact. And it seems that conversations that would be left in a smoky bar are now out in the street, and the shock just isn't there anymore. And so with the world evolving to texting, abbreviations became a popular way to shorten your typing time while getting your point across. And WTF is one of the more popular ones. And it's now a way to say the F-bomb without actually, any of the consequences. And I've actually heard kids say WTF to their parents, and their parents are like, yeah, whatever, no big deal. Calling friends curse words is a popular way of teasing them without being mean. Letting someone know that they're a crazy bitch or a crazy ass bitch necessarily won't offend them, but lets them know that you acknowledge that they have gone to crazy town and they will go there. A new trend that we have seen is that the meme on the internet and that little graphic that's posted by someone who normally won't cuss in their Facebook posts, but they will let a little cute animal do it for them. They also let Victorian people in different situations talk about what's going on in society and the times at hand. And another change, which is my favorite change, are those good kids that I used to tell cuss words to. They cuss now. And it's not that big of a deal. And it really warms my heart to honestly hear a sweet person like her, say the cuss word and love them. And it's not something that would happen 10 or even 20 years ago. So with the world becoming more comfortable and the once offensive words is just future generations need to find something that's going to shock or offend everybody. And I think the world is just not afraid of curse words anymore, but I don't know much because I'm just fucking goofy.